About the Spanish economy, very briefly. Spain has been growing well above the European Union up to mid-2007, when the global slowdown has come up. Right now, we have kept growing even well above the European Union. Our recession has not been as accurate in Spain as in the rest of the countries. But on the contrary, we consider that Spain will last at least a couple of more quarters to move forward, to leave the downturn behind. But the good thing is that we will do it with a more balanced economy. We won't be so dependent of real estate and construction, which, as you know, have been the main drivers of the Spanish economic growth during the very last years. So the economic crisis has supposed some important challenges for the Spanish economy. The first one has to be with the banking system. As all of you know, the crisis began in the financial sector, and then it moves from there to the real sector. In the case of Spain, we've had some problems, especially related with liquidity. It is true that, as you can see in both graphics, the non-performing loans has increased very much in Spain during the last months. You have there the figure in July 2009 up to 87 billion euros. But the thing is that thanks to the bank provisions, we cannot consider that as a real risk for Spanish banks, since up to 64% of the non-performing loans have been covered by the private banks. So this is one of the reasons why the international institutions has stressed the good role of the Spanish regulator when it comes to the financial sector. So exactly, you can see here an article about Financial Times inviting other central bankers to follow on Spanish regulators' footsteps. So we didn't have a real problem with non-performing loans. We had a problem, as well as in many other countries, with liquidity. And here you can see the four main measures put into practice by the Spanish government to tackle with this problem. I would like to insist once more that non-Spanish private financial institutions have needed public money to be bailed out. So it has had a zero cost for the government as far. Only one very, very tiny entity needed some kind of bailout, but it was around 0.4% of total assets or something like that. So it's not worth mentioning. Construction and housing sector. Everyone, I think you have heard about what's happening in Spain with the construction and housing sector. There's been a real bubble in Spain regarding this sector. But I would like to mention a couple of things which I consider to be quite interesting to know. We just didn't got crazy from one day to the other. There are monetary and real factors. First of all, the higher income. The Spanish population have become richer, so the Spanish population have bought more and more real estate. Low interest rates, because of the Euro membership of Spain, has had a very important role in the development of the sector. Migratory flows. We have moved from 0.9 million migrants in 2000 to 5.22 million in 2007. So these people need a place to live in. So this is another reason why this sector developed that way. And finally, foreign demand, especially Europe. When you analyze the market in Spain, you cannot think only in Spanish demand. You have to think about European demand. There are Britons buying houses in Spain, French people buying houses in Spain, German people buying houses in Spain, and the same goes with Scandinavian countries. So the demand is very, very high. Still, we have to consider that capital formation in housing assets reached 9.3% of GDP in 2007, and that's too much. There was actually a bubble which is being correct, as you can see here. And the thing is that in 2008, only 5.9% of Spanish GDP in the second quarter is based in, this kind of assets, and the trend continues, as you can see. What's happening today is that construction is focused on infrastructures and public works, representing 8.4% of GDP. So the situation is much more balanced today. Another challenge of the Spanish economy, and this is a traditional one, has to do with the current account deficit. We have current account deficit, chronic, during the last years. I think is followed by all the others. Only the American current account deficit is higher than the Spanish one in terms of GDP. So we have a huge problem with this. Why this happened is because of substantial private investment higher than the national private saving. This would be the first reason, and I would like to stress the private word, because it's not a question of the government doing that, but private agents deciding to borrow in international markets to invest in Spain, and is due to the commercial deficit, especially boosted by fossil fuel imports. The thing is that, as you can see in this figure, the trade balance is closing. Because of the cycle, basically. You have the adjustment, which is automatic, the economic cycle. You can see how the imports are decreasing much more than exports. So we are reducing the deficit. The trade policy, we are focusing on high potential markets. I think Mario Wissan mentioned the special plan dedicated to the United States, among others, to boost Spanish export to these highly potential markets, but also have to do with energy policy, renewables. We are trying to reduce the part of the deficit which has to do with fossil fuel imports. You can see that here the decrease in the Spanish demand is because of the decrease in prices, because of the decrease in the demand, but also because more and more installed capacity in the case of renewable energies exists in Spain. So you can see how we moved from 6.2 megawatts in '98 up to 29,000 in June or July 2009. So this is a real bet. So another challenge has to do with Spanish public sector financial situation. As you know, Spain right now has an important deficit. Right here is around 9% and will be more or less 8% in 2010. What I would like to say here is that during the years before the downturn, the Spanish economy was capable of having important fiscal surpluses here in 2005, in 2006, and in 2007, whereas the European Union and the euro area had deficit in all these years. So we made a quite prudent fiscal policy up to the crisis. The result for that is that the public debt in Spain was much lower than in the other countries of the European Union. Here you can see that right before the crisis came up in 2007, Spain has 39%, sorry, I don't know if you can see it well, it's 39, it's 36.2% of foreign debt in terms of GDP, whereas in the European Union we had figures well above 60%. So the message I would like to leave here is that the fiscal stimulus which we are seeing right now in Spain is sustainable because we don't have any risk related to our public debt. According to the European Commission Office for Statistics, Eurostat, here in 2010 the Spanish foreign debt will account around 62% of GDP, whereas in the other countries could reach almost 80% of GDP.